Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. We hope that the mic is working fine. Yes, please let me know if you can hear me and voice is working fine. Yes, perfect. So here we are. Yes, we made it. Good morning for the attendees. Good afternoon, good night, whatever like from you or which country you're in. My name is Amr Mousa, and I'll be your moderator for the day. Today we are here to share with you the opening of one of our events regarding the negotiations for the project managers. We have a nice set of topics that we will introduce to all of you. And by this, I would like to walk through the structure of the day. We will have today different speakers from different part, but all of this is being arranged by the team. We have here from PMI Slovenia, Ljubljana, and PMI chapter from Guayas, Ecuador, and from PMI chapter, Piaggio, Mexico. And today the event we will the first part of the day we will have Catherine Cueva Torrico. She is the president of PMI Lima Peru, and then after that we will have a fire chat with Dr. Tony Prensa, and then after that Elaine Jackson will go with us through the negotiation topic and what's expected for all of us to have on the next trainings that it will be planned on the next weeks. So by this, I would like to start with introducing Catherine. Catherine, she is as I just discussed, she is president of PMI Lima Perú Chapter. She is an industrial engineer with a specialization in process improvement. With over 12 years experience, she is excel in project management and risk management, process optimization, planning, and execution. All of that aligned with the PMI principles, resulting in significant positive outcome across various sectors. Catherine is a dynamic, bilingual speaker, contributing her insights at a conference and a prolific writer, sharing her knowledge through articles on project management topics. And after that, on the second part of the day, we will have to discuss fire chat with Dr. Tony. I would like just if Dr. Tony is here, you can write us on the chat. Perfect. Yes, that's perfect. Okay, and then we will go through a nice discussion with Dr. Tony after that to have some more details and fire chat. As well on the screen, you will find the QR code and you can scan directly and you can be in a connection with our speakers today. Thank you all. So let us have on the chat, I can see that the team are and the participants are joining. Maybe you can give it like more 1 minute till all are joining. Please feel free to write where are you from and from which country you are attending on the chat. And keep in mind that at the end, we will spare like 10 minutes. And in this 10 minutes, it will be open for questions, Q&A. But feel free anytime if you have a question, you can leave it on the comment section. In the comment section, you can leave for us any question, and we will have it at the last section of the event to discuss it, or we will spare this 10 minutes for the questions. Perfect. And here, I'd like if you can go with the second slide, please. Thank you. So, starting with introducing our sponsors for the day. Would like to say hi for Marko Golub, the president of PMI Slovenia Ljubljana chapter. I hope he's managed to attend it. Marko Golub is the president of PMI Slovenia Ljubljana chapter. As well, we have with us from PMI Guayas Ecuador, Stalin Sanchez. He is the VP, Vice President Marketing and the president since 2022. And from PMI Piaggio Mexico, we have Adriana Cuarlo. She is the president since 2024. And we have like amazing supporters from PMI Lima Peru. And would like to welcome Catherine Cueva as the president of PMI Lima Peru. Thank you. Next slide, please. Perfect. Okay. Just like to keep you know that Katrina, she's stuck in some traffic jam. She might joining late. She is trying to connect. It's fine, and maybe by this we can. Hi, Catherine. Yeah.
Hello, I'm so sorry for this delay. Life in Peru is very problematic sometimes with the traffic, but I'm here with all of you.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And we are glad that you make it. Thank you, Catherine, that you make it and you can join. It's nice to be with you here. And first, congratulations on your new position as the president of PMI Lima Peru. Actually, it's very impressive, and I would say it's something that it's could continue in your development and career, as I can see from when I have introducing you. So first, congratulations on that. We're glad that you make it and you are with us here. And maybe this can start with us to have a question with you regarding this. How do you like your new important role as the president of the PMI Lima Peru?
Exactly. Let me put the Photoshop. I'm ready. I'm ready for all your questions. It's my pleasure to be the new president of the PMI Lima Perú chapter. I'm here for all of you. So assume a new role for a chapter so important like is Lima. I think is a is a goal for the for anyone. So for a new role, so I'm very happy for this new position, and I said it demonstrates a long history of volunteering and contribution to society. Just as we move up to career leader too, there are also and so many opportunities within PMI in every country. Although it is true that there is no financial remuneration like money, but the satisfaction is very great, such as improving your soft skills, expanding your network of contacts, increase knowledge in project management, having more friends, and friends motivate you to grow. I think that is the key sometimes in my life. I'm very happy to meet with Mariana. So we have a very an amazing friend like is Lee, Mr. Lee, our friend, and that's more than enough for me. All the key, exactly the key is have many friends of every country in the world.
That's amazing. That's impressive, actually, Catherine. And actually, when I went through when I was reading the your bio and like this the experience you have, like this 12 years experience in the project management, and to um, to have this experience and to start to produce it or to share this knowledge through leading one of the important PMI chapters in the world in Lima, Peru. Uh, I would expect that this is boosting not only your professional development, but for the project that are under execution now in Peru, and to sharing your experience, best practices, and to contribute as PMI chapter on Peru. How you can see this from both sides as professional development for your own, and from the sharing your experience and the knowledge to the local chapter.
So how I balance my experience
So maybe, mhm, yeah, maybe we
okay.
can start like what else you would like to achieve in your professional development, Catherine.
Okay. Uh, so for I for this question, I think I'm looking in my experience and in my profession. I'm looking to obtain a new certification such a professional management PMI. That's a new level or a next step to the certification. All of people obtain the PMP and RMP like is risk management professional, but in the world, a few people have a program management professional and a
Mhm.
portfolio management professional. For in Peru, there are there are 5 or 6 person like have this certification. I think it's important since I believe that the constant search for knowledge and professional development. So as I move forward and I value building a strong relationship, as I believe friends are an integral part of our professional growth and success. So about my aspiration includes uh, contribution to the development of other, for example, young people. I enjoy work with students
Mhm.
with the students at university because I feel that I can contribute to their experience and to their development professional in the next year.
Thanks,
So
Catherine. Thanks for that, and thanks to go like going through us on this nice journey. And congratulations again on your new position. We wish you best of luck, and by this we can like take it now to introduce our doctor.
oh the
Uh, yes, Dr. Tony Prensa. Yes, Dr. Prenny. Actually, we
Hello.
all like the pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Tony Prensa. Tony is not only the CEO and founder of LinkedIn Top Voice, corporate trainer, PMO project management steering consultant, agile and the change management professional. Dr. Tony has been in for over 40 years in the Avant Grant of Information Technology, PMO, project management office, and overall project management across multiple sectors. He is a rainmaker, as we can witness in his long journey in the field. Currently, Dr. Tony also provides service and management consultation, consulting, project management, IT consulting, change management, corporate training, leadership development, executive coaching, and business consultation. Dr. Tony, what's the pleasure to be with you, and it's actually my personal honor and great to be with you in this event. And we have Gustavo. Gustavo, well, I will hand over the mic for you to take it from here, and let us all attend this interview with Dr. Tony that Gustavo will take it from here. Gustavo, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, welcome everyone, and welcome Dr. Tony Prensa. My name is Gustavo, and I am more than pleased to have this conversation, interview with you. So it's an honor. And so without further ado, let's start, shall we? So how are negotiations in general different from negotiations in project management?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the team for having me today. It's a special Saturday. So I'm lucky to be here and talk a little bit about my experience in one of the subjects of the project management career, which is the project negotiation. So answering your first question, so what's the difference between negotiations in general versus negotiations in project management? So I would say there's not too much difference. So negotiation is basically what we do every day in every activity that we do. But the difference, or I consider the key difference from negotiations in project management is around the triple constraint. So in project management, we need to speed up. So we need to accelerate the process to get things done because we don't want to delay the project. We have budget constraint and we have resource constraint. So negotiation is key in project management because of that, of all the constraints that we have different in sometimes in operations. So we have a little bit of time to negotiate, but the techniques and the attitudes and the mindset, the involvement with all the stakeholders, there's a lot of similarities in operations and project management negotiation. So it's something that all project managers should develop every day because negotiation is not a thing that I learned. I graduated from to be a great negotiator. It's a day-to-day things. So every day we learn.
Yes, Dr. Tony. Thank you very much. And Dr. Tony, in your opinion, project managers should learn these skills, negotiation skills?
Definitely, negotiation for project managers is like communication skills. It's something that you will do every day. So a little bit of my experience. So I had the opportunity to be in multiple roles during 40 plus years of my career. But let me say something. One of my roles as a resource manager. So I was in charge for all the resources for project management and technical implementation for a big company in US. So I have around probably 40 project managers under my umbrella, but I also have all the technical resources. So in that piece, so I was acting as a resource manager, but the project manager, so they need to negotiate with me the resources for the project. But sometimes I say the project managers are selfish. They only think about themselves. I only think about my project, so I want to deliver because that's the way that they make, I would say, their money. So we evaluated a project manager based on the delivery. So in that piece, so they bring me the importance of the projects, that they're working. So I balance because I was overseeing the entire business. So I balance what they saying versus what the resources that I have. But sometimes they need to go back and negotiate with the clients about scheduling, about when they're gonna deliver because they don't have the resources available. So negotiation skill is very important because they need to convince me the project is adding value to our business and also for the clients that we serve. So it's something that project manager need. That was in communication and negotiation. Everything goes together. So later on, we're gonna talk about how emotional intelligence plays a huge role in developing those skills.
And Dr. Tony, for you, how important is the approach towards a negotiation, for example?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So the negotiation for me is a matter of developing relationship. What I say that. So I'm negotiating with you, and probably we're negotiating to agree in having a dinner. So that's a negotiation. So what gonna be more convenient for you? Let's say the time, the day, the restaurant that you wanna eat. So maybe you like seafood, I like steak. So there is a conflict there. So how can we go into an agreement that we go or you come to the steak restaurant, steakhouse restaurant, or I go to the seafood restaurant? So the most, I would say, the approach that we should follow in order to have a win-win situation. At the end of the day, I want for you to be pleased, and I want to be pleased as well. So that's a win-win situation. So the approach is more cooperative, it's more collaborative approach, and that's one of the recommendations from PMI. So it's about win-win situation, more collaborative approach that I can satisfy your requirements or your desires, and I can satisfy my requirements and desires as well.
And when it comes to negotiation, who makes the first offer?
So according to some research in the arena of negotiations, whoever made the first offers, it's like we say in sport, in boxing, whoever hit first, that win. So the same in negotiation, the first that made the first offer, first after understanding what you want to accomplish. So you need to have a plan. What are you trying to accomplish? So whoever approach and provide the scenario that convince the other party in the negotiation is the winner. So I would say as a project manager, so we need to have the winning formula. So I'm gonna offer, this is my first step. So this is what I'm offering. But you also need to expect the reaction or maybe objections that you may have from the party that you're negotiating with. So that's I would say, so as a project manager, you need to be proactive. So that's what I say when I facilitating, for example, PMP courses. I said, project manager, you need to be proactive. So you need to have a business mindset. So so you need to be proactive, make the first offer, but we trying to satisfy and get the buy-in of the party that you are negotiating with.
And Dr. Tony, nowadays that we are interconnected and use internet and prefer having these virtual meetings, so is there a significant difference between a face-to-face negotiation compared with an online meeting, chat, email, or telephone call?
Yeah, as I mentioned, negotiation is a way of communication. No? So for those agile practitioners, so they said the preferred way of communicate is face to face. Nothing replaces that interaction, and that's is because it's I would say it's simple. When for example, now you and me, we are talking and discussing visual, it's live but it's visual. There's a lot of things in the communication that we are losing. So sometimes the hit of the other person we learn, so we can read how the other people react based on the closeness that we are, as close that we are. If I have you in person, I will learn more from you because I can see the body language. I can see if you have a strong breath. It's like you didn't like what I say. So there's a lot of more to learn. So the preferred way is face to face. But after COVID, everything changed. So now we need to relearn how can we read people. So I'm reading a book about how to read people and be happy. So how can you read people visually? So I need to feel comfortable because this is the way that is now. So the visuality is a reality. And we live in a big country. So with globalization, is not like I live, for example, in Peru or here in US. Well, so we live in a big country. So everybody is connected, different culture, different language, different way of telling people things. So, but I prefer, if I have the opportunity, I prefer to do face-to-face communication when negotiation is there. And also depend in what parts of the negotiation you are. But the best way is face-to-face.
I agree 100%. You're totally right. So,
Thank
and
you.
you mentioned also that there are different approaches and we can use, or social skills we can use in a negotiation. For example, assertiveness, competitiveness, collaboration, or a structured approach. So, how do we pick the adequate way to face the negotiation in order to achieve a win-win situation?
Right. So, so there are different approaches. How you going to initiate and develop the conversation to accomplish the outcome that you are looking for. So, as I mentioned before, collaborative, the cooperation that you will establish with the other party that you want to negotiate is important. But I think the most important thing for negotiation, and that happens for anything in communication, is about connection. Um, I work for a company that the CEO, he always saying, it was a big bank. So he always saying all the leadership meetings. So we are a business, that was a bank. We are a business of relationships, not a transaction business. So the idea is when you are negotiating, you're trying to establish connection. It's a more stronger than a simple relationship. So that's the first thing that you need to do, and that will decide the approach that
And what about
you want
the
to have.
technique?
So in that sense, so collaborating, and so we are working on something
Negotiate.
together to achieve the better outcome for the organization that we work for, or for the parties involved. So that's what I would say is the win-win situation. So in that sense, empathy and emotional intelligence plays a big role for the project manager. So if you develop the emotional intelligence, so you're gonna have better connection with people. At the end of the day, is that matters. How we connect with other people, how we have that willingness to help the other people. So that's I would say for that question.
Thank you, Dr. Tony. I think I had a problem, a connection issue here, but I ask, so when it comes to techniques, so there are several techniques that we can use, such as storytelling and framing, humor, for example. And so how can they help us? How can this technique help us to get a successful negotiation?
Right. So again, negotiation is a way of communication. So we have a speaker today, Elaine Jackson, that she delivers some public speaking for project manager. So those techniques of public speaking, framing, storytelling, using humor in the conversation, that will help to, I would say, to break those. Sometimes we say to use the icebreaker, so we can have the confidence and the fluence of the conversation that we want to convey the message. So if I'm selling you a product, so first I need to tell you the story. So at the same time, I think that not only the project managers are selfish. I think all human are selfish. Everyone is looking what's in it for me. So okay, you are selling me these products. So what's in it for me? How this product will help me? How this service will help me? So the same in a project. So everything about change management is to convince other people that the change is good for you. So for me, I think having those connections with the other party that you're negotiating with, storytelling is the best way to approach things. You need to tell things natural. It's not, if you have a structured negotiation process, that's too cold. So you need to have better, I would say, warm relationship with the other human, so they can understand you and they trust you. So you develop trust as you communicate and convey the message in that way. But the most important things in a negotiation is you. If you are negotiating with you, Gustavo, the most important person is you. So I need to create that level of trust between you and me, so you buy what I'm selling to you.
That's it. Again, 100%.
Yeah.
And when it comes to other skills, please tell us about the other skills we need in negotiation. We can mention active listening, rephrasing, or empathy. What else? Nonverbal communication.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they will say negotiator. Or I don't like to, for example, if it's related to selling something, but we all are sellers. So we all, for everything that you need. So for the day-to-day life, so you go to any place, you negotiate with your couples, you negotiate with your kids, you negotiate with your neighbor. So you negotiate with everyone. So going back to what I said before, developing your emotional intelligence will help you to have better connection with people. If we are friends, I have one person that maybe everyone know him because of the marriage between PMO Global Alliance and PMI. So I'm a friend, so Americo Pinto. So one time I was talking to him and he said, I want to make friends. So we were talking about organization, but he said, I want to make friends. So the idea is to make friends. There's some good techniques about communication, like I mentioned that Elaine, she delivers some public speakers workshops for project manager. So one of the calling to research is active listening. So most of the time, when you approach someone, you want to be talking, but you don't listen, and that's a problem. So active listening is that I am with you 100%, not only physically, but also my mind, my heart is with you, because I trying to understand what you need. So that's a key in negotiation, active listening, and also empathy. So if I don't have an empathy with you, so it's like I don't care about what you think. So I don't care about your own situation. So that's bad. So active listening, empathy, and care. So I have one conversation with one CEO one time. He said, "So make sure that your people love you." So the people that work for you love you. So that you need to try to look for that. But it's not love, romantic love. It's like care. So the people care about you. So that's a good attribute to any leader. If the people they don't care about that leader, it's not a leader.
That's exactly. So active listening, definitely.
Active
And
listening.
I read. This is interesting. So I read that women tend to negotiate less frequently than men. I read that once. And so, with a study showing that women negotiate only about 30% as often as men, only about 30%. So, why is that? I mean, could we see this as an opportunity? Women can see that as an opportunity. What are your thoughts about this?
So definitely, so that's not really related to project management things. It's something that have been changing in these years. So we have more presence of women in the leadership position. So they explain maybe that metric is from the past, but things are changing. There's a lot of opportunity for women, but I see a trend. There's a lot of women there getting more education than men sometimes. So I teach for the University of Miami. So most of my students are women, not men. So it's something that is changing. So as have more women in leadership position, decision makers. So we're gonna have more women negotiating. So that metric will change. So, but again, it's an opportunity. So that's the idea of this program, the negotiation program. So there's some skills that people need to develop, regardless you are a man or a woman. So so that's something that this group of chapters and leaders in PMI are doing to encourage women to take those skills and be better in that subject of project management. So that's the idea of this program too.
Exactly, this is the idea. And finally,
Mhm.
our last question. Well, so we want to know what is your role, Dr. Tony Prensa, in the following workshops for negotiation for project managers.
Right. So I thank you for the questions. So is to prepare coaches and people that are gonna be working on this program, because this is a long-term program. It's not one-day things. So I will be sharing with these coaches some of my experience in negotiating for decades that I've been doing this. So it's basically to serve as a mentor for them and be here when they need me for the program that is going to start soon. So yeah, to be aware. So the more information that are coming, and Elaine, she's gonna explain a little bit more about the program. So I'm here to develop more people. As I think like Catherine, she mentioned about legacy. So at this time, in this, I would say, stage of my life, is basically to contribute to the new leaderships, the new people that are gonna take care of us. So someday I'm gonna leave these planets, and I hope that the new generation do a great job in keeping these planets alive.
I love that philosophy. So, legacy. And Dr. Tony, thank you very much. It's been an honor to be with you. So, to interview, to listen to you. I mean, you have very interesting thoughts and wisdom to share with the people. And as you said, we are here to collaborate. We are here to leave something to the world. And thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you everyone that took the Saturday to be here. So that means a lot of things. So all of you are leaders. Keep it up. I'm here to help if you need me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tony, for this nice introduction. I would say personally, I have like hundreds of questions. And I know that we are a little bit behind the time, but I will try to keep it at the end. For all the participants, keep in mind that at the end of the day, we have a good opportunity to have a direct questions to Dr. Tony and Eliane. And now we can start to take it to the next content of our day. We have the opportunity to meet Elaine Jackson. It's actually our pleasure to introduce Elaine Jackson. Elaine is a corporate trainer, keynote speaker with more than 17 years leadership experience with the Toastmasters workshop presenters. Her passion is to help project managers deliver their best on project, which reflect in creative programs she offers for Development Matters. As a chief learning officer, she delivers project management and sustainability workshops for PMI chapters. She supports PMP training using simulators. She coach and mentor teams. Eliane holds a BS in biology, the GPMP certification in sustainability, and the PMP and CPMO certification. Wow. Wow, Eliane. That's actually incredible. It's actually incredible. Eliane, I think you are muted. If you can unmute yourself, and then we can all hear you. Perfect. Yes, we can hear you now.
Great. Thank you so much for having me here, Amir.
It's our pleasure, Eliane. Thank you so much. And for our participants, Eliane will take us in this journey about introducing the negotiation training that we're gonna have, and introduction about the workshops, what's expected to have, and then after that we will end up as we discussed on the Q&A. Eliane, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much. And really a great thanks to the PMI sponsors from Slovenia, Lima, Mexico, and Ecuador. Love to visit those places. Thank you so much for sponsoring this special event, which is so much needed. What's also important to mention is that, yes, more women are in project management, more women are speaking up. And it's important to understand that sometimes women don't speak up because we want to make sure we're showing respect. So it's not that we don't have something to say. We want to make sure we're not stepping on toes, because if we wanted to step on toes, you know that we could do it, right? But we don't want to do it. We want to make sure that we're respectful on all levels. So I think that is the challenge that some women run into. Now, I know I only have a few moments, so I want to make sure I go through the slide and then I go through the outline of what we have coming in the next few weeks, because this event today is not just for today. It is for more training and also looking to see how you use this in your workplace. So I don't know if you can make this slide a little bit bigger. I don't know if, yes, excellent. So many of you have seen this. This is a cartoon, a project management cartoon, and it's really talking about communications, talking about no matter what your role is on the project, whether you're the sponsor, project manager, you're the team lead, you're the senior executive, when you're giving information, if you're not giving enough information in your head, we all have the idea of what we want. So we'll say something, but we in our head hear the whole story, but we only blurt out part of it because we're on the run. So if someone wants to build the end result, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you want it, I'm sure Maggiana will make these slides available to you. The thing that blocks this and you end up with a bad result each time is the fact that sometimes people feel intimidated on projects. Sometimes people want to speak up, but they've been shut down from before, or somebody has made them feel shameful. Oh, how could you ever come up with an idea like that? So then they don't want to speak up. They may see, well, I know how we can get to the end result, but then someone else who's more assertive will speak up. And maybe they're wrong, but they're louder. So sometimes the louder one, the person that stands up, the person that's more aggressive, they get their way because they shut down people who are more quiet. And so lacking confidence, lacking the expertise, being even bullied on projects can also hamper the success of the project, because people who have good information may not be willing to negotiate and say, hey, these are the points that I know to be true. Here's the research. Somebody louder will shut them down. And so it's important to realize that if you're at the project, you're in the project and you have a place at the table, you've been invited to be on this project, that you really have a right to be heard. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Definitely in the chat, put your comments. Would love to hear your emotions. I know some of the things that I talk about, for those of you that are connected with me on LinkedIn, I can be quite triggering. Triggering meaning I can bring up thoughts of things that you may have experienced in the before, and you're like, yeah, I remember how that made me feel. Sometimes it's better to bring it out, talk about it, and flush it to the surface, and then work on it. Now, I'm going to do one up on Dr. Tony. He dropped a book for you guys that he's reading. One of my most famous influencers is Oren Klaff, Orenklaff. He's known as the pitch anything guy. And he does negotiations, but his approach is different. Most women would not take his approach. His approach is, he says, go for the attitude from the reptilian brain. You come from a position of power, and you go in there and you say, thank you for being here. And I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to ask questions at the end. Now, 2 minutes is not enough time, but he's coming from a position, I'm going to give you everything you need to make this $1 million decision today. And you're going to make the decision because I'm the best thing out there. And so for a woman to do that, ladies, put it in the chat, that if you go into a boardroom and you say, hey, and you say, and just sign on the line, everything's fine, a lot of people are going to back up. Some people will be excited by all that energy, but they will still be like Dr. Tony talks about, trust. So make sure that when you're talking about negotiations, that you understand that people come from a point of not only power, but also their culture. In a LinkedIn Live I did before, about a month ago, some women from Africa says, we can't do that here in Africa. We can't speak up, and we have to wait our turn to speak on the projects, because when the men are speaking, we have to remain quiet. And my eyes went like this, like, what? So the thing is, culture plays a big part in negotiations. So let's talk a little bit about what's on here, and I'm going to quickly go through. Maggiana, keep me legal on the timing, because I know we're hitting on some milestones of trying to finish up on time, but we want to make sure I have the gift of gab, so I can probably go on for hours. So the important thing is looking at these areas. These 4 areas are some of the areas where we're going into in the next few weeks. So one of these areas per week, and we're looking at a 90-minute to maybe 2-hour discussion, breakout rooms, opportunities to flush to the top. What are some of the areas that are hampering project managers from meeting their goals? When it comes to negotiations, just like Dr. Tony says, we're negotiating for everything. You negotiate for your job. You're negotiating when you're on the team for the right people on your team. You're negotiating when you want certain things, milestones to happen. People may say, no, I can't get that done. Normally when people tell me on a project, oh, I don't have no idea. I'm like, okay, we'll get it done in 2 weeks, knowing that it's going to take 4 weeks. And they're like, I can't do it in 4 weeks. Now we know the limit of what you can't do. Let's now focus on what you can do. So sometimes you have to play tricks. You know how you trick a kid into drinking their medicine or something, you put it in a soda or something. You've got to sometimes be cunning. And then I'm not talking cunning like a woman acting like she's trying to persuade somebody using other tactics. I'm talking about sometimes you have to offer something and negotiate, and then someone says, no, I don't want that. I want the other thing, when the other thing is what you really were selling. So let's talk about stakeholders. Some of the concerns when looking at stakeholders is that you need to make sure you're negotiating, that you understand the attitude. As we know, stakeholders, they can influence the project. They can close down the project depending on their amount of power in the relationship. But the thing is, don't take it personal when you're negotiating and someone says, no, I don't want that. They're not saying, no, I don't want you. But I think we take it personal. It's like, oh my God, they said no. No, they said maybe no, not now to that arrangement. They're not really making it personal. So you've got to pump yourself up, just like when you're going to give a speech and you pump yourself up, power yourself like Rocky, right? You do all the commotions to get your energies, your endorphins up, so that when you negotiate and the person says no, you then have well, how about this? And how about that? Or how can I make it better for you? Rather than taking it as they don't want me. So I'm not going to go a whole lot into stakeholders. As you well know, that's a whole area that PMI offered in the 6th edition, and it's now in the 7th and going into the 8th edition. Let's look at risk management. So we know that risk, when you're talking about negotiating, when you're looking at risk can be anything, anywhere from increasing the cost. Maybe you hired someone at a really attractive rate because you thought they'd do a great job and then they messed up. Maybe the risk is that the schedule is running late and you're not sure in your techniques to crash the schedule, or maybe you need to do some fast tracking, but you're not sure how much more risk the project can handle. So risk comes from just about every facet. So when you're negotiating, you have to then say, what are the pros and the cons? There's some risks that you have to be willing to take on. Are you willing to take on that risk for the sake of the project finishing? So that has to come from management. It has to come from the sponsors, and it maybe should come from information and input from the subject matter experts. Excellent. So we're just going to quickly go through teaming, understanding how to interact with your team. Sometimes on teams, and I'm going to say it, I've spoken at PMI Lima about this, and I think it's important to mention, and it's not just your region of the world, it is universal that sometimes people go on a project and they team up. So they have their own team within the team, and they vote on things together, and they give eye signals, and eyebrows go up and down, and facial expressions. That needs to really be squashed. I tend to, when I create a team, is to say, look, none of that hidden body language. We're here all for the purpose of succeeding on the project, to make the project successful. We're all going to make money. I can put some incentives in place, but we can't have this division where there's a team and then there's a sub-team with their own agenda. So negotiating requires trust. It requires transparency. And the last thing, looking at scope, avoiding that rework. If you negotiate wrong or for the wrong, or you don't negotiate properly, you could end up with a lot of rework. You could end up with a lot of risk. Again, adding to the risk, those triple constraints that Dr. Tony talked about are real. And if you're not watching it, you're running around like a little rat in a little maze trying to figure out which issue, which constraint you need to fix, and constantly running around when it should be balanced. So I want to thank everyone for their time today in hearing me spiel about project management. Again, I can go on and on. This is a passion of mine, and I am so much looking forward to everybody being part of this ongoing conference. And I'd like to thank Magiana for asking me to give this overview, because I do believe if people know where we're going, then they can settle down and say, this, I want to be part of it. And we'd love to have you part of this effort that we're doing. Thank you.
Thanks, Eliane, for that. Actually, I was completely into what you just shared with us. It's not just only in the project management. While you are explaining for us, I can recall many situations in life, on the project, on the family, in different aspects, that it's actually driven by good negotiation. Yeah, but I would like to keep it to the end, but now we have actually got a few questions from the participants, and we can start by the question from Melton that we received, and feel free for all to send your questions. We have it here with Eliane and Dr. Prensa. We can discuss this question together. So the first question, that can effective negotiation skills within a project team contribute to the overall success of the project? And what are some technical strategies you recommend for internal negotiation? That's a good question. Thank you, Melton, for that. Dr. Tony?
Yeah, so
Eliane.
yeah, I would say as Elaine, she's also discussed a lot of things that happen. So effective negotiation, the first thing is what effective. Effective is when you accomplish the outcomes that you're looking for, whatever is the parts of the project that you are working on. So as Elaine was explaining, risk management. So risk management is one of the things that brings a lot of, I would say, different concepts, different between the parties discussing. So, so one of the techniques that I will use, and that's a simple technique, is about active listening. So you're trying to have the empathies with the other party, the other person that you are discussing. So what they understand. So you trying to be in their shoes. So you provide them what they want to listen. At the end of the day, everybody want to listen something, but you need to determine what that something is. So active listening is important because we used to talk too much and sometimes we don't listen. So, and pay attention what they looking for. So when you understand that, you're going to be able to convey the right message and put your arguments. So you're going to have objections from the people. So you need to do it. But I would say, if you ask me about strategy, it's about active listening and empathy. You need to care about people. So we work for people with people.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tony. And this will take us to the next question. How crucial is to have strong negotiation skills with the client, for example, to minimize scope changes in the project?
Elaine? Yeah.
Yes, Eliane?
Yeah, I believe that when you're negotiating, sometimes your emotions are high because it's personal. I want to win. Everybody wants to win. But I think what I find that I do when I meet someone, I try to understand who are they, what is their personality style. You know, understanding Myers-Briggs, obviously you can't walk up to someone and say, what is your behavior type or your personality type? But you try to peg them by saying certain things and see how they lean or how they respond. Or sometimes I even say something like, hey, you an Aries? Are you Aries? Are you Sagittarius? And then this is the kind of things I like to do. Then you sort of get an idea of that they're a person, that they are aggressive, or they sort of are compassionate to learning or whatever. I try to find gaps where I can get in and get a hold, so that when I'm close to them, then they can't get away and they have to engage. And I think negotiating, you have to understand the person. You can't just come from your point of view And you have to try to get in close. And by doing that, you have to know the person.
Thank you, Lena. Like I can recall many situations that I got such type of questions, and now I can recall this. Yes, it seems that at that event, the counterparty was trying to understand what type of personality I have. Yes, I can understand that. Thanks for clarifying that. And we have a question from Zandur, that what could be the best strategy to find and propose win-to-win solutions? Who would like to take this answer?
Yeah, I can take it. So the first thing is, what is a win? So what are you trying to accomplish? So I was thinking as Elaine was talking. So you have a kid. So the kid want a present or something that you need to buy. So how you address that things? So you don't spend that much money. Maybe they want a Xbox, those expensive video games stuff, or also you wanna see a smile in the face of your kid. So that's a negotiation. I don't have the budget to buy that equipment, but at the same time, I want my kids to be happy. Then, so how you do it? So you need to find a third thing. So it's not a win-lose. You need to find the third option. So the best strategy is to, as Elaine was saying, you need to understand what the other party is going through, and then find that option that is affordable for both parties, for you and from the other person that you trying. But everything is about communication, understanding the needs of the other person, and you need to have the empathy. It's not like you are giving up in a conversation. It's like you need to feel satisfied too. So you need to find that balance between, it's about communication, understanding the other needs, and making sure that at the end of the conversation we can shake hands. So we got it. So we are friends, and we continue negotiating and talking.
Yes.
Yes, I want to make a comment on what Dr. Tony said. I think it's important that you also don't be triggered. You yourself, you might feel the person is getting triggered, but then you respond based on past experiences that you have had, past maybe work experiences that didn't go well. Now you're in a situation like, here we go again, and you feel like you want to resort to behaviors that are non-professional. I would suggest things like going to the Landmark Forum, which is an international organization that helps you to understand what are your behaviors, who are you being? And then you say, oh my God, I'm being like my mother. You can see your mother when you act a certain way. You're like, oh my God, that's just like my dad. My dad would say that. Then you try to interrupt those behaviors. So I just want to comment on, don't allow yourself to be goaded. Goaded means somebody says something and then they see you fly off and now you're yelling and screaming. You have to say, nope, I'm going to do this other strategy. So don't allow yourself to be pulled into negative situations where you lose the control.
I fully agree, Leon, on that. It's not an easy, and it's worth actually to keep always an eye into this perspective all the time, because it's easy could be tracked into this. Yes, fully agree. Thanks for this. And with this, we have another good question from Michelle. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. And the question is, what's the best approach to start negotiation with someone who has no intention to negotiate, but only when to lose approach? This is actually a good question. And it's common that we went and dragged into this situations when lose approach.
Yeah, I would say also Aquita and Elaine can elaborate on that. So there will be time don't you need to quit negotiations, so don't negotiate. If I know that you only want to win, so it will be difficult to start a good relationship. But I would like to know you. So why? what is behind the scene that you don't telling me what you're looking for. But if that's the intention, there will be a situation that you need to, okay, so I'm gonna leave. When we have the mindset to negotiate, so call me again and we do it. So, Elaine?
Yeah, I would say that you have to understand the point where you're willing to walk away. You can say, well, I'm doing this for you, but if this, you know, and in the beginning, you can say, if this doesn't work out, I want us to still be friends. I have clients that I take on as training clients. And I said, you know, we might not end up friends in the end. Oh, why would that ever happen? And then when it gets towards the end of the training and then they get upset, they start to see their attitude has changed towards, you know, I don't want to be your friend anymore. So you have to just sort of set the stage to say, if this doesn't work out, we have to be willing to walk away. Is that okay? Because they need to know that there's a point that you're going to say, sorry, I'm out of here.
Right.
Right, you're right. Yes, fully agree. Thanks, Eliane. Thanks, Dr. Tony. And actually, we got another good question from Sarala. That the question is, how can we negotiate with a conflict of interest between a personal visibility versus organization goal in a team? It's actually a good question to discuss something that,
Yeah, that's no. So I published a while ago an article just to remind people about the PMI code of conduct. So so you can do anything against that. If you are project managers and if you sign as you pass the sign as a PMP, so you also need to respect the code of conduct. So conflict of interest and that kind of thing, that's, I think that should be different things. So it's all business, but you need to do it right. So I don't know if that answered that question. So.
Eliane, you have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that there are people that violate the code of conduct. Maybe they are project managers, or they're not. There are things that happen. And the thing is just to call it out. Are you strong enough to call it out? Some people, if you look at some of my posts on LinkedIn, people talk about they see things and they turn their head the other way because they have mortgage payment. I have a mortgage to pay. I have my kids in private school. I'm not going to challenge this and end up losing my job. So, you know, who is your master? Who are you going to serve? You know, at the end of the day, you go home and you're struggling with that. You know, you should have said something, but you didn't. Eventually it's gonna eat at you and it's gonna come out in another way. So I would say to follow the code of conduct, do the right thing, speak up. And if it doesn't work out, then you go elsewhere, whether another project or you have a different client. You know, you should never stay in an environment where you're doing the opposite of what you know is the right thing to do.
Right. And that can be painful. So sometimes, so if you not agree, I'm gonna lose my job if I don't do it. But sometimes the right things are painful. But as I said, it's better to do a relationship that's doing multiple transactions instead of doing just one.
That's totally agree. 100% agree. And by this, maybe by this question, because we're already behind the schedule, I would conclude here that negotiation is vital, not only just win-win situation, but in such case that there is a conflict of interest between to do something that you know this is the right thing to do, and you are going into a negotiation situation that you are negotiating something that you might end up to leave this organization. It's a vital. I would say negotiation is the soul and heart for everyday situation that we are going through. I have personally like hundreds of questions, but we're already behind the time. Maybe I'll personally try to contact you, Dr. Tony and Eliane, and the LinkedIn if I have more questions. And I would encourage you all to get in contact with Dr. Tony, with Elaine for the other questions that unfortunately we couldn't have the time to answer them. And yes, we enjoyed a lot for the question. Thank you all for the question you shared. And by this, we would like to thank Dr. Tony, Eliane, and Catherine, and all the team and participants that joined us. Now, what are going to prepare on the next weeks? We are preparing for a complete 4 workshops. Each workshop is 2 hours. It will not be one way into knowledge. It will be interaction, will be kind of breakout rooms, interactive situations. Dr. Tony and Eliane will go with us one by one to teach us practical tools from life, from their experience, how to get more knowledge, more tools, more practical tools to use in your daily life negotiation. This is the QR code on the screen. If you would like to scan it, it will be every Saturday, 2 hours. And by this, I would like to thank you all again for joining us in this nice event. And we are looking forward to see you all. Thank you a lot, Dr. Prensa. Thank you, Elena. Thank you all the team. And thanks for all our organizers that supported us to have this nice event with you all.
Thank you very much. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Thank you all. And see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.